Hey everyone, I have just received an order from Soumkine. I have 3 different notebooks here that I'm going to be talking about today. I am really excited about this because they make a standard size, perfect bound notebook, like a thick notebook with lots of pages. And if you've been around my channel for a while, you know standard size is my absolute favorite, and I'm always on the hunt for thicker versions of this size. Usually these are very commonly found in thinner staple bound type of inserts for traveler's notebooks. And I usually take thick notebooks like this that are A5 size, and then I have them cut down to standard. So I'm really excited about these. They do have fountain pen friendly paper, and it's not Tomoe River paper or Midori MD paper. It's a new to me Italian paper. So before we get into this, I want to let you know that I'm going to be putting timestamps in the description. So if you want to skip to a certain topic, those are there for you. And I also want to give a really big shout out to Brittany at Carrots and Olives, because she is the one that told me about the Soumkine brand and that they carry this size. I put out like a distress beacon to find out what else was available in this size. And she answered my call and was so patient with me as I was like attacking her with questions through DM. So thank you so much, Brittany. She has recently put out a video about her Soumkine notebooks, and that will be linked below. So make sure you check that out for another perspective. I took this one out of the packaging already, but I just wanted to show you what the packaging looks like and how they come. So it has the plastic in here. It's very well protected. I will open those up, but you have your invoice paper here. I actually think the invoice comes with the same paper that's in the notebooks, which is pretty cool. So you get a little card with your name on it, and then an envelope which is full of a bunch of these cards of the Eiffel Tower. One of these cards has some discount codes on it, which is pretty cool. So there's like 4 different cards here. Very beautiful. These are made in Paris. They have an atelier in Paris, and they hand make all of these. I will have their Instagram and their website and everything down below, but on their Instagram, they do show these really wonderful videos of how they make these on these like really antique looking machines. And it's just really amazing to see. So let's get these out of the package. All right, so they have these belly bands that say open, touch, close your eyes, feel, and Soumkine. And these just tear off. I'm gonna be rough about it. So then it has this cover that you can kind of, I don't know, slip it back into if you wanted. But once I'm done with this, it's gonna be so bulky because I like to add a lot of ephemera, so I probably won't end up reusing that for storage. Put it down, and then there's another belly band on the actual notebook, and it says, "Nice to meet you." Okay, so here is the other one. This one is in another color, and each one of these is made to fit. You know, these are all different thicknesses. So these are all custom to the specific thickness that the notebook is, which is pretty cool. Let's take off the belly band. All right, so what I have here, I have 2 notebooks and 1 universal planner. Now, I did get this, even though it's an agenda or a planner, because this can be used as a notebook, and the grid layout is a little bit different and a different size. So I just wanted to kind of try everything out. So I ended up getting 3 because they all have a different number of pages. So this one has 140. This one has 260. And this one is the thickest, and it has 380. So Most of their products are available in all 3 of these page counts, which is really cool. So I kind of just wanted to see them all together. This is such a beast, but isn't it cool that they offer different page amounts so you can select what you want? I just think that's amazing. So let's start with the covers. These are very, very thick and sturdy. Let me see. I have some other notebooks here. Yeah, they're all the same. So this is a Taroko Breeze notebook. I had this cut down. It was A5, but it feels pretty much exact like the Breeze notebook. Here is a Hobonichi. The Hobonichi is a little bit firmer than this, but this is not flimsy at all. It does feel like it's gonna protect the book nicely. So there's a number on these, so 306. This is actually referencing the size and the type of paper layout that's in here. So let me see. On these covers here that they come in, on the back, oh, that's kind of faded. Here we go. On the back, they have an explanation as to what it is. So there are pocket size, the slim size, which is what they call this traveler's notebook size, A5 and B5, which is like composition size. And then the layout of it corresponds to a certain number as well. So the 3 means this is the slim size, and the 6 means that it is a full grid on here. So it's really cool. They give you an explanation. I believe in the back here, yeah. So you also get an explanation as to what the numbers mean on the inside back cover here. So I will say the covers of these, they are not coated. Like they're not shiny like the Hobonichi is. So these feel like they would absorb any oils from your hands or anything like that. So that's just something to be aware of. So for these notebooks, I'll do a flip through of how it is laid out, and then I'll show you this one as well really quick. So inside they have these cinnamon colored end pages. Each notebook is numbered, and then you can put your start date, completion date, and all of that right there. And then there is this caution warning. You can read that just about you'll get addicted to good paper. And then their stamp on there. So you get personal data, so you can enter addresses and things like that. There's an in case of emergency. I don't really fill this kind of stuff out. I usually just put my name. So you have that. And then you have a few pages of table of contents. So you can write the subject and then the page number here. And there is a few pages of that. Then you have these spreads that have these clock faces on them about the different times in all the parts of the world, which is really cute, very charming. Then you have some explanation of Swiss design with some watch faces on there. Then you have some lined pages. So you have 3 pages with just lines on it. There is a red dotted line in the middle. And these lines, if you can see, they are little dots. They're not a solid line. And then this goes into the grid paper. So both of these are grid. This is also a grid, but it's a different kind since it's the agenda. The grid lines are actually little dots as well. And there is a red line on this margin here. And all of the pages are numbered, and they are in this red ink. So they're all like that. And let's see, in the back, so this is 300 380. Yep, so you get 380 of the actual grid paper, and then all of these in the front are just extra. And then the cinnamon end paper again. And then here is the explanation from Fyodor Soumkine, who is the founder, and all of the numbers and what they mean according to the sizing and the page layouts. And that is that. So I got two different colors. This is the mustard. This is the cheesecake, I think. And they come in a whole bunch of different colors. So you can pick what you want. They have like a pink and a red, I think. The agenda specifically has, I think only the white or a cream, and then this black. So this, I haven't peeked in this yet. So it has the same end paper with the unique number, the caution, the personal data. It also has the table of contents. Get a few pages of that as well. And then this is, again, the different time zones, but you only get one full spread of that. And then the lined paper, and it's all still dotted lines with a red line in the middle. You get quite a few of those. And then this goes into the grid. These are also numbered. The number is just in a gray or a black. So the pages in here are different because the grid in here is 3.8 millimeter and the grids in the notebooks are 4.85 millimeters. I think, yeah, you can see the difference pretty well. It's much smaller in the agenda. So this is much closer to like the Hobonichi one. The Hobonichi is definitely still smaller. I can't remember exactly what it is here. So this is 3.88 millimeter. And I believe the A5 Stalogy has 4 millimeters. So this would be the closest. Yeah, those look pretty similar in size. This one technically is just like a smidge smaller. I do love 4 millimeter grid. That is my favorite size. 5 millimeter is the typical size you see, but I'm excited about this because I think I'm really gonna enjoy that. So this paper is 70 GSM Italian paper. I don't know like the specific brand of this paper or anything, but it most closely, to me, just in my opinion, it most closely resembles Stalogy paper to me. It feels thicker and it's noisier. Like, yeah, it feels noisier to me and maybe a bit drier. But when I get to the pen test, I'll show you why I think it performs most closely to Stalogy, in my opinion. I don't have experience with like every type of paper out there. So the color here, this is an ivory color. I know a lot of people just really like white paper. This is not going to be white, which you can probably tell. There is a pretty big difference there. I'll also compare it to the Midori MD, which notoriously has this really yellowy cream paper. I much prefer the Soumkine ivory over the Midori cream. This just looks incredibly yellow compared to this. This looks like it's more tan and an actual cream. And white is my favorite, but I am definitely okay with this. I much prefer it to the MD. So keep that in mind if you really like white paper. This is definitely different. So it also has a lay flat design. So you can kind of see there, It has a bunch of signatures that are bound together. And when you open it, this paper that covers the spine, it isn't attached, so you can actually get a nice flat surface. You know, you kind of have to train it, just kind of bend it backwards. It will take it and smooth it out. So this is a lovely lay flat design, which is usually my experience when it comes to perfect bound, kind of Coptic stitched books like this. When you have signatures, it's pretty easy to bend it backwards at the spine, smooth it out, and get it to lay flat. So let's get into the pen test. I've already tested in here, and the paper is pretty good. The thing that I am comparing this to in my mind is the other standard size thick notebook, which is made by Archer and Olive. And this pretty much hands down takes the cake for me as far as how it performs with watercolor and all of my fountain pen inks. This paper isn't perfect, and it isn't the most fountain pen friendly that I've experienced. I still think it's a notch below Tomoe River paper and Midori MD paper. So I always try my watercolor on here. I still get a really lovely sheen and shimmer out of them. This is a heavier wash. So I find that when I just write with it like this, it handles it very, very well. But when I start laying down a lot of water, it tends to feel like it's disintegrating a little bit and pilling up just a bit. And in particular right here is where I laid down a lot of water and a lot of color, and I was really kind of scrubbing it with my brush. And that's where I got that experience of it kind of pilling up a bit. I will say though, it handled it very well as far as bleeding through. I really didn't get any. There's obviously some ghosting, shadowing type of stuff, but for watercolor, I was pretty pleased with this. And then I tried my wettest inks that I have in some pretty broad nibs. My Pelican, this tends to bleed through when I use it on my Stalogy, but it handled it extremely well. There was no bleed through at all. My Noodler's 54th Massachusetts though, that tends to be a bleeder. And I have it in a pretty broad TWSBI Eco. It is a medium nib, but it's a wetter nib for some reason. And that definitely bled through. I also have 54th Mass in a very fine tipped vintage Schaefer pen, and it still bled through. So I just think that particular ink is not going to be compatible here. Organic Studio, that bleeds through some cheaper papers for me, and I found that this handled it extremely well. And also this is a super sheener, so it has a lot of red sheen. Just make sure I can capture it. So as you can see, the sheen does come through on this, which I was really, really happy to see. In my Archer and Olive, it just soaks up all of the sheen, so it just looks like a dark blue ink. And then the Organic Studio Frog, it has gold shimmer, and that comes through beautifully as well. So here we have Noodler's Lexington Gray. This one is finicky for me too. Even on some really good papers, I can get some bleed through with that. And there is some slight bleed through. It doesn't do as badly as the 54th Mass, but I am getting a little bit. This is actually pretty good in my opinion, because this is on a really wet nib as well. And then I tried to pull out some Robert Oster, and this pen is almost out, so I didn't get to finish it. But Robert Oster looks pretty good as well. And I did, let me see. Oh yeah. So I went here and I tested some more things. My Sharpie is, of course, bleeding through like crazy, which it always does on everything ever. I hate these Tombow pens, but I had them out. So the Tombow Funosuke hard tip and soft tip, those do very, very well. And then I took out my dip pen and grabbed a bunch of Robert Oster samples that I have, and wonderful. I don't know what this dot is. I think I might have like scratched the paper there or like poked it or something. But as you can see, I'm very happy with this. It does really well, no bleed through. Same thing with my Crayola Super Tips. They do really awesome. And then I have a mild liner and then a gel pen, which do amazing. So I'm very pleased with this paper. It isn't super perfect and top tier for me, but I think in general, I'm gonna be able to use my fountain pens and be very, very happy with them. I do wanna say though, this paper does feel a bit porous compared to something like Tomoe River paper, which has some kind of layer that's like sealed on top that keeps all of your ink sitting at the top. And because this feels a little bit porous, I don't get the same amount of shading and sheening as I do on Tomoe River paper. So you can kind of see, well, hopefully, the Pelican with the Noodler's Walnut, it's so much more vibrant on this Tomoe River paper. And I feel like you can see the shading really awesome with it. And on this, there's a little bit of shading, but it looks slightly dull, if you know what I mean. And then my TWSBI Eco with the Organic Studio Nitrogen, you can see the sheening very, very well on this Tomoe River paper. And while you can see the sheening here, it doesn't seem as intense or as in your face and vibrant as it does on the Tomoe River paper. And then I think there's a little bit of feathering. Now, and this is very extreme, right? Because I'm laying down a lot of ink, and this is a very wet ink at that. And I don't know if it'll pick up, but I do think I'm seeing a bit of feathering with some of these wetter inks. So I am pleased with this. I am happy with it because these are very hard inks for a paper to perform well with. So I do like this as an option for me to have as a journal. And as far as the layout goes, these are available in dot grid, but it's a different grid size. Like, it's really tiny, and the dot grid is all in red ink. And there's blank, lined, and then obviously this full grid. I would say when you're looking at these, pay attention to the grid sizing, no matter what it is. Even on the lined paper, pay attention to the line sizing, because theirs tend to be different. They're not just like the standard 5mm. So definitely pay attention to that in case you don't like smaller grids, because these tend to be smaller than what we generally see. So let's talk about price. These are expensive. They are made in Paris with Italian paper. They're expensive, but it's just going to depend on what you value, what you're looking for, what your budget is for this kind of thing. So for like the 140 page, generally this is $43. For a 260 page, it's about $64, $65, depending on if you're getting the notebook version, the agenda version, yada, yada. And then for 380 pages, this was $78. So if you move up in your page count, you're getting more value. You're getting more bang for your buck. And at 380 pages and $78 US, this is kind of comparable, like price per page, as the Archer and Olive standard, but this has better paper, in my opinion, for what I want to use this for. So I would rather spend that money on this notebook. Now, they also have a free shipping option. So if you're spending about 80 euros, which is like $94 US, you get free shipping. And as far as the shipping goes, it only takes this about 11 days to get to me from France to the US, which is really awesome. So you have the free shipping option if you want to buy in bulk. And then they constantly have discount codes. If you follow them on Instagram, they usually offer a discount code like every 2 weeks or something like that. And then when you get your envelope here, there's a card in here that has a bunch more discount codes, and they range anywhere from like 10% off, 15, 20, I think even 25% off sometimes, maybe even 30. So if you purchase, definitely look for a current discount code and save yourself some money that way, which helps to reduce the cost again. So I do want to touch on customer service because I did have to contact customer service. So when I ordered this, I actually ordered this in July, and there was an error, I think with the order number, and my order was delivered somewhere in Texas. And I live on the East Coast, so that was nowhere near me. And I sent an email and I didn't get a response after a day. So I decided to reach out through DM on Instagram because I noticed that they're pretty active on there. And it was only a few hours later, and it was Fyodor Soumkine, the founder of Soumkine, who contacted me back and said he apologized, and he said, we're going to look into this right away and I'll contact you with the results. And then a few hours later, he sent me a photo of a new package that had, where I could verify that I had my correct address on there. He told me there was a mix-up with the order number and the other one was sent incorrectly. And my next replacement order was shipped that day. So I had a really, really great experience. They were very quick to research and very quick to remedy that. And I got my order and I'm really, really happy with it. So thumbs up for their customer service. And now I thought I would put these in some of the leather covers that I have so you can kind of see how they fit. So here are some. For thick notebooks like this, I don't like putting these on traveler's notebook strings. I prefer to have a folio type cover for them, but I thought I would just try them for the sake of trying. This is a Traveler's Company traveler's notebook, and I really don't like that, but the thinner one fits actually perfectly in here as far as the width is. Here's the 260. This is getting a little awkward because I feel like the string needs to go right down the middle in order to get this to be centered. But see, this is why I don't really like strings on it. And this 380 is just ridiculous. So let me see here. If I just set it like this. So that is going to come absolutely to the very edge. And yeah, nope, I wouldn't like that at all. I do have these just straight folios. This one is from Maker South, very simply made. Let's see, let's just try the big one because this is, I know the other ones are gonna fit. So this fits beautifully as far as the height. And yeah, this is actually not going to fit the 380. I'm not gonna be able to get the front cover in here and have it close nicely. So the 380 will need extra room in there. So I'm thinking the 260 will work. Yeah, I think that's the max this can go, is the 260 pages. All right, let's slide both of these in. So there we go. It really fits nicely in there. That's perfect. The bigger one isn't going to, and the smaller one definitely will. That is really lovely. Yeah, so I'm hoping I will now be able to get some use out of all of these covers that I have. Let me see. Oh, this is a cover from Lorite, which is also Le Cow. And his covers tend to be pretty big. So let's see. Oh, I think I have my string in the way. Oh yeah, that's gonna fit. Actually, I think this might fit the 380. Yeah, there's like so much extra room in that. Yep, okay, so let's try it with the big one, because that's kind of the one that's gonna be the hardest to find a cover for. And you better believe I'm gonna make some custom covers for this. Let's see. Oh, yay, yeah, that's gonna fit. Oh, good. Okay, so I didn't have any special measurements or anything like that when I had this cover made. I just ordered a standard size folio. So this is just how they normally come. This is the normal sizing for it. Oh, wow. Yeah, that works. Wow, and there's even plenty of room there. So for the 380, a Le Cow cover is sized pretty perfectly for that. That looks awesome. All right. And then the last one I have is a Sojourner here. This is my Sojourner trifold in the Roadrunner. I love this thing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that'll fit in the pocket. So let's do that. Yep. I mean, it fits. It's a tight fit though. So that works. I don't like having it like this. I prefer to have the back cover in a folio. So there's that. Let's try the 260 page one. Try it on a string. I know a lot of people like to just put the front and back covers on the strings like that. And that looks beautiful. I like having a lot of this showing. So there we go. It looks awesome. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys, you know, this other option in standard size. If you know of any other companies that make this size in a thick bound notebook like this, please leave a comment, let me know, and make sure you check out Soumkine if this is something that you're also interested in. All right, thank you so much for joining me today, guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye.